Okay, moving on to the big news of the weekend, the BAFTAs. We are ramping up to the Oscars. We're almost there, a couple weeks away. And the BAFTAs have come out. The winners were a bit surprising. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I do want to mention just a couple of things that were of note. Is that All Quiet on the Western Front ended up being a huge victor of the night. It swept most of the categories. Um, Also, the Banshees of Inisherin. That to me changes the game of like where we're heading into come Oscar night because I didn't really think of All Quiet on the Western Front to be a real front runner, but I mean it's a war movie, so like I probably should have seen that coming. But yeah, it's looking like a standout. Another thing was the fact that Austin Butler ended up winning Best Actor, which again changes my viewpoint on where I thought we were going because I thought we were going down the Brendan Fraser route for that one, and we might still end up there, but we got 2-on-1 now. So we'll see what happens at the SAG Awards next week. Because if he ends up winning that, then he's definitely winning the Oscar, which would be insane. Like I couldn't imagine like if y'all know Austin Butler from back in the day, like back in the Disney days, like this is crazy, an incredible
He
job.
was
So
on Disney.
he
Maybe that's a different daily generation for
yeah,
me. So
he was on Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure. Like if you have not seen that movie,
I have no idea what that is. I have no like
you know
the
Sharpay from High School Musical.
okay. So the only reason I know like Sharpay in that name because when my sisters are watching it, they're kind of like freaking out. Hey Dale, there's this kid who sings and he plays skateboard and he plays the cello. That could have been you. You know, that's the only reason I know about that world from that point because at that point they kind of I was stuck watching the rest of High School Musical with them. So, but yeah, that's where it ends for me. So sorry.
Okay, so Sharpay is one of the lead characters played by the icon Ashley Tisdale. If you know, you know. And they had a spin-off of her character going to, I think, New York to be on Broadway, and he was in that movie. So he also dated Vanessa Hudgens for many years. She was also in High School Musical. Do you know who Vanessa Hudgens is?
I know the instructions. Yeah.
Okay, yes, they were in a relationship for many years. She encouraged him to do Elvis, and then he did Elvis, and now he's, having all this acclaim. But anyways, like I was saying, it is kind of shocking to see where he is now, considering like where he started. I think that's amazing. He's having like a Zendaya moment where it's like you started on Disney and then you're having like this fantastic career right now. The wheels in my brain are turning about like, okay, what does this mean now? Um, and also Carrie Condon from The Banshees of Inisherin won supporting actress, not Angela Bassett. And that brings me to my final point on this. That not a single Black person or person of color won any of the major categories. Not a single one. Not in this award show. I don't know what else I can say about this at this point. I feel like the other awards at least tried, like people of color were getting stuff. But I feel like the BAFTAs were like, we will just nominate you and just accept the nominations because you're not winning an award. And that makes me feel gross inside and make me like not care about the BAFTAs. The other thing to come up from this was that Ariana DeBose had an opening production number that people found cringy or like unwatchable or weird or whatever. And I don't know. I feel like people on Twitter are always gonna have something to say. But I think she was like using the names of the nominees inside of her song and she like choreographed it and wrote it herself or whatever. And I feel like Liza Minnelli did this back in the day. I feel like I've seen a clip of that from like the 70s of her doing the exact same thing. So like what is the real issue? Is the issue that she's a person of color, that she's a woman out here dancing? It's the BAFTAs and people feel like it's a very serious occasion. It's not like the Oscars or whatever. So you can't dance and sing on stage like girl, get out of here. Yeah.
I view it this way. I think overall, like, and this is like 3 years after the initial Oscars so white kind of stuff happened, and then all the award shows said, "Oh, we're gonna make this promise," and blah blah blah. I do feel that it's not an eye-opening thing, but it causes people to be more aware. Like for some reason, there is this big push to the idea of over in Europe, England and the rest of Europe, there is no such thing as racism. I can be there as a black man, and these moments like this really cause like say no, it's they're just better than the states at hiding it. It just lets you know that it's not a perfect world for us no matter where we go, and it goes back to a mindset of sometimes you should be happy just to be nominated in certain aspects, yes, but in certain but with the BAFTAs, I do think to a degree some people who won should not have won. And I will say, one only thing I am happy about being nominated was Daryl McCormick from Good Luck to You, Leo
Mhm,
Grande. He was up there for best male leading role.
mhm.
This is the first category I've seen him in at all, and in this category, he's the only black man. I forget his name from Everything Everywhere at Once. He's the only Asian man usually in the category. It shows a lack of diversity in the nomination and selection for a lot of these parts, or not a parts, but for a lot of these awards.
Yeah, and they tried to be sneaky with it and be like, "We're gonna nominate all of these diverse people," and give them absolutely nothing. Like, that's what I kinda hate that more.
Like, I see
You
what you're
know?
doing. You're trying to placate me
Right, and
by
it's
giving me the
that.
bare minimum.
And it's that really pisses me off. Like, at least certain award shows will be like, either we're not gonna nominate you at all, or we will give you a nomination, but you probably won't win, like, best actor or best actress. But they were like, "No, no, no, don't worry, all inclusive. Come join us over here in London."
Yeah.
And then was little snakes about it, like, mm-mm. That's what I the royal family to the BAFTAs, I just don't like it. It's just I don't like it. They don't have my support over there.
I think this award season this year is probably going to be one where everybody expects it. It's not going to be like last year with Dune, where Dune was probably the best picture for every category and didn't win best
Right.
picture. So I think this
Still
one is,
upset.
yeah. You'll never get over it. I mean,
No.
Dune 2 is coming out like
I
2024.
know.
You'll
It's
get there.
coming out this year.
Yeah, so you'll be fine. But I do think this one is kind of going to be exactly what everybody
Predictable.
expected and predictable. So yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like that clip? Well, you can listen to the entire podcast because the 16mm Film Crew podcast is available on all major podcast platforms.